A surprise homeowner is on the hook for hundreds of dollars in repairs to his security door after a pair of teens delivered a swift kick to it on Valentine's night. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kadiba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The incident coming as a real shock. Just this complete random act of violence and vandalism. 12 News journalist Sean Rice talked to the homeowner and other frustrated neighbors. And Sean, they say the teens in the Mountain Vista Ranch neighborhood are responsible, and they've done this kind of stuff multiple times.
Yeah, Mark and Caribe, that latest incident on Valentine's night is by no means the crime of the century, but it's a puzzling one for Jeff Valdez, that homeowner. In 4 years of living in Surprise, he tells me his home has never been targeted like that by teens set on causing damage for really no reason. And Valdez's reason for why this may be happening is something every parent may be able to relate to.
This is our security door to our front door.
Bent and up against his truck, hardly the place where Jeff Valdez's security door is supposed to be. The damage the result of this teen who is caught on camera delivering 2 swift kicks to his front door.
If it was my kids that done this and they were caught, then there would be definitely some reprimands, because this is not correct.
Valdez remembers a time in the not too distant past where ding-dong ditching or throwing toilet paper all over a home were ways to play a joke on a neighbor.
Kicked it right there. You can see the footprint.
He now finds it disheartening that teens are resorting to legitimate property damage.
If you want to be foolish in a neighborhood, just don't damage anybody's property. I mean, it's okay to be a kid and play pranks, just don't damage anything.
This incident not the first for the Mountain Vista Ranch neighborhood in Surprise. A property owner less than half a mile away sharing this video from last month with 12 News. It shows teens hiding behind the bushes and dropping rocks on the ground after the homeowner tells us they had just finished hurling them at windows in the neighborhood. The neighbor tasked with picking up this glass on the street and sidewalks. Valdez hopes parents in the neighborhood are now asking themselves where their kid was on Valentine's night, and hopes an apology and an offer to replace his security door is forthcoming.
I would accept that. Then I'd probably make the kids work at my house for at least a day, because I got a lawn that needs to be mowed. I got some dog poopies that needs to be picked up.
Now, as for why this may be happening, Valdez has a theory. He believes there is very little for high school, even middle school age kids to do for fun here in Arizona. He encourages the city of Surprise or any other Arizona city to really rethink how family friendly they truly are. Caribe.
Yeah, it's got to be really frustrating for those homeowners there and all the mess they have to clean up. All right, Sean, thank you. Well, today, Phoenix police implemented sweeping policy changes for when officers resort to violence or use of force on suspects. The move creates a higher standard for when officers can use their firearm. Now, some of these changes include that police can no longer use deadly force if the suspect is only a danger to themselves or property. Officers cannot strike suspects in the head or neck, and certain types of chokeholds are now prohibited. The policy also says that deadly force can only be used if the officer's life or members of the public are at risk. The president of the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association is pushing back on the changes. He believes that officers are going to be more hesitant in how they respond to dangerous situations.
You're going to have officers responding completely different in that scenario, just for fear of becoming the example. I think we're setting ourselves up for failure. And not only that, I think we're setting our community, or our city up for civil liability.
Now, these changes have been in the works for years now by interim police chief Michael Sullivan and are now fully in effect today. It comes after the Department of Justice released a scathing review towards Phoenix police for using excessive force. Tonight, a West Valley community is grieving after a boy was killed by a suspected drunk driver. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra spoke with his friends and his classmates and is in Avondale with how he will be remembered.
A few dozen candles burning softly on the side of Thomas Road are a heartbreaking symbol of an 11-year-old boy who was deeply loved.
I love him dearly.
At this spot near 107th Avenue and Thomas Road is where friends and classmates have stopped to pay their respects.
He was just very fun, a great person, great soul.
And just one night ago, this same spot was the scene of a deadly crash.
He did not deserve what happened at all. He should be standing here right now, but he's not.
Avondale police say the boy was hit by a car while crossing the street on a mini bike. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Avondale police identified the driver as 35-year-old Madeline Mannon. She was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence.
It's just heartbreaking and deeply upsetting to see that this continues to happen.
Clarissa Mehta, the victim services manager for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or MAD Arizona, says crashes like this one are preventable.
It's important to designate a non-drinking, non-using driver, and that means a non-drinking, non-using driver to where they're completely sober and ensure that everybody gets home safely.
Friends of the Garden Lakes Elementary School 6th grader tell me he was smart, athletic, and a good person.
He was a great kid. He was really funny, and he always made me laugh.
And they'll miss everything about him.
I mean, everything. Everything.
Garden Lakes Elementary School said it had counselors and other support available for students on campus. Avondale police are still investigating this crash. Charges are pending a blood analysis. In Avondale, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Gabby, thanks. There was a miracle on the US 60 this morning. This is really the only way you can describe it. A woman trapped in her burning truck after being hit by a cement mixer. This is the video that was captured by Officer Brian Larison's helmet cam. He was on his way to work when he came across this crash on the 60 at Val Vista. This poor woman was in big trouble, but with the help of an off-duty firefighter, they were able to drag her to safety, saving her life. And tonight, what an honor. We are joined in studio by these two heroes, Officer Brian Larison, who's been with Chandler Police for 10 years, and Asa Pagia is a firefighter and paramedic who has been with Peoria Fire and Medical for 9 years. And both of these gentlemen are Marines and have been deployed in Operation Enduring Freedom. Boy, thank you both. What a day. I mean, there'll come a point later on tonight, or maybe you've already had it, where you've said, whoa, did that really just happen? Has it hit you?
Yes, sir. It has. It's hit me on and off all day. I've gotten emotional. It's not something you expect to see on the way to work.
Yeah. How about you, Asa?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the way to work, and got to work and had to do my normal duty. But then it's kind of, I saw the videos come out and people reaching out. It was kind of overwhelming, the amount of support and everything that we received. So,
Asa, as luck would have it, you're what they call a rover, meaning you go from one fire station to another wherever they need you. And so, because you're a rover, you carry your gear with you, and so you had your turnout with you in your trunk. You can't ask for better timing.
yeah, I just happened to have my gear with me. I had worked an overtime shift yesterday and was on my way to work. In fact, I was a little bit late to work, and as I got on the freeway, I happened to see the column of fire from the car. So,
I know that both of you train for situations like this, you especially, Asa, but there's one thing training for a situation that might happen and you hope to God it never does, and quite another when you come up on a scene where a woman is trapped in a burning truck, probably has seconds to live. That takes it to a completely different level. What was that like for both of you today?
Our first job as a motor officer or any officer is when we roll up onto an accident scene is to ensure everybody's safety and that their injuries, what they may have. When I was going up to the cars, and my first thing was, did she get out, or did that person get out? And I saw her in her car. I said an explicit word, ran back to my motor, grabbed my baton, and my first thought was, get her out. I didn't want anything to happen to her. I certainly didn't want her to perish in that fire. And it took me a little bit to finally break that window, but when I finally did, I was pretty spent at that point because of the adrenaline and everything I was hitting.
Of course.
Luckily, when I turned around and I saw Asa, and it was just like, oh, he's here and he's got his gear, and I was so happy to see him.
Yeah, and you're in your turnout. You actually are able to grab her and drag her away from this burning car. What's going through your mind?
You know, as I pulled up, I saw that there was a fire, but as I was passing by, I noticed that, you know, him and the other bystanders, like, they were desperately trying to get someone out of there. So I noticed that someone might be trapped, and I had my gear with me, so I put it on, and right at that moment, he had broken the window, and I saw her legs and arms flailing, and decided that we would get her out. And in that moment, the only thing on your mind is that you want to effect a rescue and get this person out of that fire. You know, we didn't want to see something more unfortunate occur.
Thank God you both came along when you did, and I understand that really you might not have been there at all. I know you don't normally take that way. You were running late, and and this woman's alive tonight because both of you guys had situations where you would roll past this scene.
Yes, sir. You know, when I left my house, we always sign on for duty from our garage, and I normally take the 202. And for some reason, I was like, well, I think I'll take the 60 and go do traffic out in Northwest Chandler this morning. And I just happened to see this take place, and I'm like, why is everybody slowing down? So I roll up, and here we are.
And I'm guessing your training just kicked into gear.
Yeah, you know, once, you know, any first responder, firemen, police, EMS, when there's someone in need, there's no other thought on your mind than helping them. And so that's why we do what we do. That's nothing unique to us. It's everyday firefighters, first responders, cops, EMS. And, you know, the only thing on my mind was we're going to get her out. And luckily we were able to. So I'm very grateful for that we were there at the right time to be able to do that.
Phenomenal job by both of you. I know you spent some time with her.
Yes, sir.
After she was out of the car, consoling her. How is she doing, if you know, and also what were you saying to her?
I was just telling her, you know, she was pretty upset, you know, hypoxic, if you will. And I pretty much told her, I got you, you're okay, you know, we got you. And just let her know she was going to be safe. And then I was able to get her to, she called her husband from my phone. And I told her husband that she's okay. And I gave her the phone, and then we got her over in an ambulance. She did not want to get into an ambulance, which I understand. Got her in, and as she's sitting back in the ambulance, she kept saying, I lost everything. And I reminded her, you're okay, you're replaced, you know, right. You're alive. And then she thanked us for saving her. And then later on in the evening, she reached out to my wife and said, I'm home, thank you. So she's fine.
Yeah. Do you know how much razzing you're both going to get tomorrow? You at the police station and you at the firehouse?
I have a lot of ice cream, yeah.
Yeah. I hope you're both proud because, and I know you both have great families. Your wife is here.
Yes, sir.
She's a doctor. I know you have 4 beautiful children and a family watching. I hope you can step back from the humble, I did what I'm trained to do person and just know, like, today, I made a difference in someone's life and the ripple effect of all the people that they know and love. You absolutely, positively saved this woman's life, and it's miraculous, and we're just so happy to have you both here.
Thank you,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.